It is
You're
weird
right.
when you watch your own tutorials. I cringe a bit when I watch my own tutorials. One, because I forgot it. Two, because I have to like listen to myself.
Oh my god,
I
listen.
don't like listening to myself. I don't know if
Uh,
anybody's in this boat. I don't like hate the sound of my voice or anything. I'm not like that. I just hate being like, oh, he made this. Yikes.
yeah, when
You gotta accept the cringe, which you did in your last video, the
That's right. I
Hallelujah
try to
video.
accept the cringe.
uh,
And it was
Dude,
funny. It's not bad. It was
I
funny.
don't know where the idea came from, but when I had it, I'm like, this is it. And now that Ducky's not here, let me roast him. Well, when he did his 100K, I'm like, he's not doing this right. That's not how you celebrate.
when I started putting stuff on the YouTube channel, and when I started telling family about it, they thought they were so funny, like playing the videos in front of like everyone else in the family while I was in the room.
My family does that too. I hate it.
Yes, and I'm just like, oh god. And you tell them you don't like it. I like walk out the room, not like angry, but just like I'm not gonna listen. But it's like so.
What was your like
weird around
cringiest
family.
experience with something like that? With like embarrassment about this?
It was like just a big family meetup, and just like out of nowhere, just playing it like with all these other.
Was it a
people.
long tutorial?
I think it was one of the earlier ones. So I don't know, like a 10-15 minute one. But
They watched the whole thing.
I can't remember.
You
Suppressed.
blocked it out of your
But yeah, I mean, it happens on a few occasions, and not so much anymore. But my god, it is just so cringy. I don't know why, but it's like I don't know, like I guess embarrassment is obvious, but this
It's something with your family and talking in front of a camera to like no specific person,
yeah.
and your family just doesn't get it as much. But
It was interesting. This is kind of unrelated, but kind of related. But the you know the musician Grimes, Elon Musk's girlfriend.
yeah.
She said something interesting, which was that she always pretends to play characters when doing her music because it's less embarrassing if her family listens to it. Because then she feels like it's not her that's doing it, but like a character instead.
Yep.
And I was thought, oh well, yeah, that kind of makes sense actually.
It's hard to get a different character though. It's like hard to not be me.
Yeah.
It's hard to fake your personality. I struggle with that, and I'm not the most social person, and I certainly wish I could, be more outgoing. But even when I try to fake that, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing.
I was gonna say on that note, it's interesting because the sort of response that people get in terms of like a personality from you through the video feed is very different from who you are in real life. I mean, you may feel like when you're doing it, you're being genuine, and it's also, I guess, one of the reasons why I'm doing less scripted videos now. But in real life, a lot of us are pretty quiet, Tom.
That's right.
Until you have your best friends, then you just act really crazy with them.
Yeah.
I'm different around family and just people I just met than my best friends who are just all mess around with each other. Like, but in my YouTube personality is just tutorial. Create the tutorial professionally. But I'm somewhat the same in real life, but I'm also different depending on who I'm around.
Yeah. There is also the element of like, because these channels are technical and creative, they're not personal channels. So you have to like, there's a line of separation between like your like really personal side of your personality and like your more professional side, because at the end of the day you're there to transfer information that people use, and you have no idea who's going to be watching it. Is it going to be like some professor that's trying to research something for uni, or is it going to be like some kid from like maybe a third world country even who's trying to pick up a new skill? So you're trying to be like this multi-purpose like information giver. Does that make sense?
It's also difficult. Well, for me, it's conveying my personality or being funny is like a resource that takes time in a video. And for me, like, it's hard to weigh that benefit for viewers. Will they enjoy the tutorial more because I'm not constantly streaming information, or is it just going to get in the way where they'll tune out? And so it's for me, I try to balance like some humor or lightheartedness with the information instead of having two separate things. But that's a hard thing to figure out.
I notice I even like talk, even now. I mean, I don't consider this like the CGMatter persona, but it is a bit. This isn't how I talk. Let me try to. This is how I talk. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't not put inflection, and I think I'm pretty good at just saying something and making it sound interesting just because of how I say it. But I see the CGMatter thing as like an alter ego, and I always have seen it that way. And I tried with the default cube thing to like chill out and just talk normally, but I still can't.
Yeah.
It's weird. Even though I'm in a room with a laptop usually and a microphone, I'm like, okay, just nobody's actually here. Just be normal. Can't.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
I started just talking into the mic and recording. Just hit record, do a tutorial, and then just edit out the ums and the uhs, and that was it. And I think I should probably go back to that, but it was taking me so long that I started scripting it out. Like I started just recording myself doing something for like whatever, how long it takes. And then it was kind of like the Ian effect where I like, hey, that's a great way to do tutorials. And like I went overboard and I tried to do it too fast. But then I was like, if I just backed off and I do like, 5-10 minute tutorials or whatever, but I script it out, like I look at what I'm doing and then I write it out and then I just read it, I can get so much more done and I'm faster at it than trying to. And then it's like, but the alter ego thing comes in where you're kind of like, I sound a little hypey when I'm reading it because I want to make it interesting. Whereas if I'm just recording myself doing it, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to click here and that's why. And then I'll just start talking about a different tangent or something and then I have to edit that out later.
Yeah.
I haven't
I don't
watched.
struggle. What's that? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I know you make Udemy courses, which I haven't seen one, but I'm assuming they're like substantially longer than like a normal Blender YouTube tutorial, right?
Yes.
For those, do you feel like you go more to like normal personality, or are you just on for like multiple hours with like some kind of
Honestly,
like alter ego thing?
I think my personality on my Udemy courses is exactly the same of what you'd see in my YouTube. I struck like I don't. You mentioned ums and ahs. I'm blessed enough to not have to really have those in my like. I don't naturally say ums or ahs, which is nice because I don't have to worry about editing those out. But like Andrew Price, for example, does his videos in 30 minutes to an hour without stopping. I can't do more than like a minute or two without pausing, then doing a fade effect in the next clip. That's one of my downsides, and it works because I fuse it together quite nicely, and that's kind of how I do my YouTube tutorials and Udemy courses. I'll record a few bits, pause it, go to the next bit, pause it, and I think the personality in YouTube and Udemy is about the same. It's just Udemy courses are a lot longer and more structured. I do like you'll do your little promo video, you'll do your conclusion, what you should focus on after taking the course. You have to do more like technical support, say how you can reach me if you need help. But besides that, it's basically the same in terms of YouTube and Udemy. It's just Udemy's a lot longer to set up, plan out, and publish.
The psychological effect of recording is also really interesting. We mentioned this a minute ago. Like, as soon as you press record, something changes or switches in your head. And I know that you know about this. But like, because I've done it before where I've sort of practiced when I was doing scripted content. I sort of practiced doing it before I recorded, and everything would go like so super smoothly, and it'd be like, hey, like, hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about that. But then as soon as I press record, I say to myself, doesn't matter if you fail, we'll just go for as long as you want, and we'll just edit out the bad ones. But even though I'm recording, it just keeps on failing. Like, hey guys, we're going to like, you have to like keep stopping and going over and over and over again. And it's just the act of turning it on that just makes it bad now.
I'll record intros so many times in a row and just random. For every clip you see in a video, I probably recorded it 5 to 10 times to get it right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Josh, do you know my intro story?
No, I don't.
I'll tell it really quick. I don't know what it is, but it used to be really bad. It's there was a time where I would just say the first sentence for 2 weekends in a row. So I'd go to this abandoned building. It was this super weird thing. I had this abandoned building, this abandoned room. I'd go there, and I already had this thing scripted out. And for, I think it was like 5 or 6 hours, I'd just say the same sentence over and over and over again. Wasn't able to do it. So I came back the next day, and it took me 2 weekends to do it. It was like super strange. And I don't know what fixed it, but yeah, when you hit record, something changes. But I think the real issue is the fact that you can hit stop record. Like, it's fine to be different when you hit record, but the fact that you can do a second take, that's the issue for me.
It's so nice. Well, to me, the second takes are nice because I can do it as many times as I need to. I don't have to. I'm not on the spot. I can just delete footage, re-record it. I can do whatever I need to do. And I'd
rather mess up, honestly.
Would you? And I do mess up. It's just when I mess up, it's all subjective, really. It's do you consider that a mess up? It might be something as simple as, oh, I don't like how my hair looks, or how I phrase that word, or how I explain this situation.
I think there's some kind of like threshold thing in your mind where if you it may just happen in a moment, like a fraction of a second, but if you predict that you're going to mess up, then you make yourself mess up, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've had that a lot for sure.
So,
but then you know exactly what you need to say once you do it enough. You're like, this is what I need to say, then it ends up actually working out.
Yeah.
That's what happens for me, at least.
Yeah. So
yeah, but then you obsess over like inflection and stuff. Like once you've already picked the word, so there should be no issue. Now I obsess over inflection, and I don't know. The thing that helps the most is if it's a long tutorial. Once I'm 10 minutes in, if I mess up, I'm already committed. I'm not going to re-record.
Yeah.
But that's why it's always the first sentence, because you feel like, am I going to start this 30-minute thing with the mess up? No. I'm just going to keep hitting start record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking about inflection.
Am I the only one who messes up or slurs their words just out of nowhere? Because I speak fine. It's just I'll try to think of something, then I'll just like I'll mix like 5 words together. I don't know what I even said.
Yeah.
It happens to me a lot when I record.
Yep. I've also listened to myself back and realized I've made mistakes that I didn't know I made when I was recording. So in sentences, I've swapped words around without realizing it, and I've gone, oh, damn it, like afterwards.
Yep.
And I've been like, oh, I can't be bothered to re-record this bit now, so maybe I'll just trip this bit out of the video instead.
And most people won't notice, I think. I think we're just so worried about how we're producing it, but in reality, someone's going to watch it and just be like, oh, I didn't even really notice you messed up that word. But when we're in the moment, we know we messed up. And we're like, okay, do I re-record it? Do I keep it going? Do I edit it out? But I've seen videos where people mess up and it doesn't faze me in the slightest. I forget about it 2 seconds later. So I try to keep that mindset as well.
I've talked a lot. Yeah.
Sorry. There was this one I heard on this podcast once. Kind of, I think we're getting into like the perfectionist side of things. And this guy said, he's a filmmaker. He said, we don't create. We're not creating. We're magicians creating something for an audience, and we're not creating magic for other magicians. As in, like your audience. I think too often times we're creating things. Thinking about how we and other people that know the things that go into this will pick them apart.
Yeah.
But most people don't see a lot of the things that we stress over so much. And so when that's helped me a lot to remember that, there's some of those things that seem like a big deal if I just let them slide. And sometimes they do wind up being a big deal when you learn about that as you go. But it's something that's helped me.
Yep, that's very true. In fact, when I was really hesitant of doing any Python videos with Blender to start with, because I felt like I didn't really have enough experience with it. And like you see all the people with the foundation working on it, and they've got all these rules for how to lay things out, and Blender's got all sorts of weird conventions in its code and stuff you need to do for add-ons, and there's other YouTubers that explain it better than me. So I was worried about, okay, well, if I put this out, am I going to get a bunch of comments from the hardcore guys like, oh, this isn't efficient, why did you write it like this in Python? And at the end of the day, I you see so many people that just have fun with it, and I haven't received any comments about people going, oh, you shouldn't have actually. That's a lie. I've received 1 or 2 comments from people saying, oh, why didn't you use this instead? And at the end of the day, I don't care. If it works, it works.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
People get so bogged down in you just do it that way. I would have done it this way. It's my mom's basement.
Every other YouTube.
No.
Yeah, it's
I know.
Why didn't you use list comprehensions in Python? Shut up, honestly. Just let me have fun with it.
So true. It's so true. Oh man, you're just no, it works. And people are oh man, they'll get hung up on these little things. Like one video, I think I was saying vertice, which isn't a thing. It's a vertex.
Yeah.
But
we all do that.
I think I was drinking rum and I was making my video. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm the vertice, and people were you just lost all respect and blah blah. I lost all respect for you saying vertice, or I would say the dot release 2.8. Yeah, it's I work with people that say dot all the time. Dot releases. Doesn't matter. You say point or dot, and they'll call you out for that and be you just lost all credibility. I'm shut up.
Here's
no.
Here's the thing. Exactly that. I don't know when it clicked, but it might have been after speaking to CG about it so much, but there came a point where I just really don't care what people think anymore. And the learning to ignore people video I did is a result of that change in mindset. But when people
Genius.
when people insult me now, it becomes I almost want it because it's like comedic fuel.
It's laughable. It's like you wasted all your time posting this
But
for no
yeah,
reason.
it's also like I can now screenshot this and send it to other people and make them laugh as well. It just becomes like this fun thing. So I'm almost disappointed that I'm not getting like any good hate comments anymore. Oh well.